The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by SIDEBAR, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR, a 103.5 The Beat podcast, is a production of ILTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented, in part or in its entirety, without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. SIDEBAR is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
Welcome to SIDEBAR 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and today we have with us Mr. Justilien. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well, and yourself?
All right. You're here today, well, in general, because of the contribution you made to music and youth in general, but more specifically, the Bahamas All-Star Band.
Yeah.
For those of us out there who may be unfamiliar with it, tell us a little bit about that. What exactly is it?
Well, the Bahamas is All-Star. It's a group of talented kids. We started this back in 2010, but we officially became the Bahamas All-Stars 2011. We became recognized by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. We bring kids from different communities, different backgrounds, school neighborhoods, between the ages of 12 and 18. And we formed this awesome marching band, and we've been just grooming them just to get, it's almost like a stepping stone between high school and college, giving that experience, the training that they'll need to move on to further their education.
So the big question is always going to be why? Like what was the impetus behind the band? What was the need that you saw or that was seen by the founders of the band?
For years, I see a lot of my former students on different job sites. You know, I'd go to the hotels, they'll be waiting on tables, they would be in a food store on a construction site. And I'm looking at these kids. They're talented. So what are you doing? What are you doing waiting on tables? What are you doing working in a food store or in a bank? And every now and then, some of them would say, Mrs. Day, when are you going to form this band? You know, we want to continue playing even after high school. And, you know, with other reasons, that came into fruition along with some other band directors. And it just grew from that point.
And so it was...
What really happened, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture they wanted to put a group of kids together to do a performance in Daytona.
Okay.
Yes. And once that performance was completed, everyone had to go back to their own space. But we said, hold on now, let's try to keep these kids together.
So how did you pick who would be in it? Because you're saying they're coming from different communities.
Well, it was open to all. Any talented kid. We started with probably 60, 70 kids.
Right.
And we did I think it was the Bethune-Cookman Homecoming Parade in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Right.
And when we came back, you know, we decided to let's keep these kids together.
So they had to do like tryouts, or were you pulling them from other music classes, or were these persons that you may have run across, or you pulling them from church groups?
They were handpicked by the different directors that was involved with that particular activity.
All right.
So, you know, I got a few from the brass band, I got a few from Government High, I got a few from, from different schools and different community bands, and we came up with something special.
I was going to ask, like, why a marching band? Because there are different ways. Music is wide. There's a lot of different genres within music that you could have picked. So, like, I was going to ask, what was the reason for that? But you said it was a specific event. Yeah. But even after the event, what kept it in that direction?
Music has always been a passion of mine. Various forms of music, from pop bands to marching bands. The music program in schools. That's what I do. That's my calling. I call it my ministry.
Right.
And I think that the largest volume you could get in the area of performing arts, I think, is marching bands. You know, pop band has its small unit. Jazz band has this also a small unit, but a marching band you could go as large as you want.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's not an orchestra, I guess.
And it's fun doing it.
Right. Well, yes. And so you said a lot of the kids that you would see, they were like, we want to do more stuff after high school.
Right.
And they weren't necessarily going off to college
Yes.
at the time. So this was an outlet for them. What is the band still a thing where you have to be of a certain caliber to get in?
Oh yes, you have to possess I'd say musical talent. You know, you have to be a gifted kid in some sense to first accomplish what we set out to do. That's one of our objectives, to give the kids opportunities to get off to college. They can be awarded a band scholarship, but major in anything. I have some photos of you find that various kids going in different professions, from pilots, doctors, lawyers, educators, because of music. All they had to do was play in school band.
Right. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the opportunities and some of the students you've crossed paths with. Mm-hmm. After this break, you are watching and listening to Sidebar 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sidebar 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and today I'm here with Yonell Justilien, director of
band Bahamas All-Stars.
Right, and also music teacher.
Yeah, here at the government high school.
Right, and I think that where some people may know you from one thing, that you definitely would have crossed paths with hundreds, if not thousands, of students by this time.
And also a part-time music lecturer at UB as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, so definitely in the thousands at this point.
And if to stretch it out some more, musical director for Colors Junction Group.
So let me ask you a question. Right? Where did your musical start? Where did that come from?
My first musical experience that I had in church, in Grand Bahama. Okay. All of my brothers and sisters, guitars, keyboards, singing. You just grew around it, and couldn't help but to just fall in love with it. And then from there we relocated to Florida, completed high school there, came back home for a couple of years. Then journey began. Was it your exposure to Florida that you think, because you have, I don't want to say the cliche story of persons who, when they're younger, they do something. Because, for example, I went to school with a guy when he was in grade 11. He was doing photorealistic drawings. And then
I bucked him like 2 or 3 years ago, and he's like, he ain't pick up a pencil since we graduated. You don't even know if he could still draw, right? Because like, yeah, you gotta go get a job. And so he put down that art that all of us was in awe of when we were kids, and nothing came out of it. But you follow music, even though that is something, especially in the creative community. People are like, you gotta make the money off of music. You go do something more. So what do you feel like part of it was the exposure to seeing it as a possibility that made it a thing where you never let go of it?
Well, loving it is one thing. And when you place an environment where you see that there's different possibilities, playing, one of my dreams was to play in an orchestra. You see, but when I got to that point, then I saw some other areas of music that I love, arranging, composing. I was introduced to those, and I kind of stuck to those as well. So there's multiple things that caught my attention, that kept me going.
But it was that exposure to those things.
Right, exposure.
So do you see the band itself as that avenue for persons? Because not everybody gets the opportunity to go to school in the States, right? Not everybody gets the opportunity to go to college in the States to to be exposed to certain things. Do you see the band itself as a way to give that exposure to persons here locally?
Oh yes, we have clear evidence of that. To date, we have close to 300 kids who went off on band scholarships to universities in Canada and U.S. Right here in the Bahamas. We have a large number of them in the police force band, defense force band, and even the correctional department there. You'll find that half of the pop band that they have there is from Bahamas All-Stars. Yeah. So that's creating opportunities. And I'll say about 80% of the band educators, and even some of the just general educators, music educators here in the Bahamas, came through the program.
How? Because now, when you mention composing, inside my mind went off running, because that's a whole different thing, right? You're writing music down.
Creating music.
Right, and you're not just like free form, like, okay, I could play some stuff, I could read a little bit, but now you're actually putting pen to paper.
Yes.
Let me form this question correctly. There is so much music in the Bahamas. How important do you feel it is for persons? Because that's a area of music that people don't think about, and so they don't necessarily value it because they don't even think about it.
Right.
But that's the only way to preserve the music itself.
Correct.
If somebody got to write it down, somebody got to record it on some level. How important is it, do you think, for us to fully investigate and dive into all the facets of music, or even the creative community?
It's very important, because that's the only way we can preserve, you might say, our culture. And that's the fight we have today, because a lot of musicians back then played music by ear. Right. And nothing was documented the way we should. Even John Canoe should be notated. We have everything is being transmitted orally. And I think if we document things, learn how to put them on paper, and also share them with other forms of music, we can create something special. And it's been happening. You know, me and my brother and some others just came from Nashville. We did some work there in the studio with a well-known American artist, and we added some John Canoe rhythms to a pre-existing song. You know.
See, like, even when you say stuff like that, your brother taught me when I was at COB. Well, taught is loose, because I mean, it's my fault, not his fault. Yeah. He's great. Me and my failure at piano is a whole different thing. But the idea of, when you talk about John Canoe rhythms, all right, something as simple as even the bass line that when we hear on John Canoe, we're like, boom, 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 boom. Like, how many bumps are there, right? Yeah. I've had an argument with somebody with that before. It's like, no, man, it's 5 or 6. And like, all of us have heard it. None of us can definitively say, right? Because we going off of our counting and where we start our counts and all of it. But like you said, these notations.
Then you can clearly see what it is.
Right. And then you have something like gumbe,
Yeah.
I do not know what the distinction between Gumbe and John Canoe is.
Well, some musicians don't even know.
But I'm saying, like, there must be a distinct, because I've heard the Gumbe drums is like as a specific genre, but I've never understood
Yeah.
what the difference was
So,
completely.
so here we go again. We have persons who trying to define certain things,
Right.
but never look at the characteristics of the different musical styles.
Okay.
And that is not documented that way. So, you know, whenever I won't call any name, but every time we hear some of our well-known entertainers arguing on radios, what is Bahamian music?
Right.
You know, that's the wrong question you're asking. You should ask, what is the different styles of Bahamian music? The different styles is rake and scrape, gumbe, and John Canoe.
Right.
And all three of them have different, clearly different elements in them, and you can tell them apart.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Now-
if I hear it, maybe.
Now, for instance, Gumbe, if you listen to the old George Simonet, those old Lou Adams Senior orchestras with the maracas and
Okay.
that's Gumbe music.
I'm familiar with George Simonet. So would Blind Blake fall into
Blind
that?
Blake, yes.
Okay.
And when you talk about rake and scrape, we can clearly hear what rake and scrape is. That's a different set of instruments.
Right.
And now the John Canoe rhythm on stage came later.
Right.
See, we had the John Canoe Festival, but now we're getting that sound, that rhythm, that beat now in the pop bands.
Right. And so now they're more or less they're pulling out the main elements of it.
Right.
Right.
They're refining it a bit to do a stage, and you can credit Dr. Off to what he did with that, you know, with John Canoe and some of his earlier recordings.
Do you hope that the students that pass through your classes, the students that pass through the band, that they are going to find that passion and take that on, to see it as it is important for me culturally to look at music this way, to hold on to this music?
Oh yes, and we have evidence of that as well. Not only through Bahamas All-Stars, through government. Some of my government students are doing very well out there. I don't know if you know the name Sheila Poitier.
Yes.
Her band plays at Bahamas sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm sure you are familiar with the young jazz trumpeter, Gifton Jellin. So that's jazz.
Okay.
So you have a number of persons who's out there performing in various bands. These kids are getting hired every day once they get out of school.
Yeah. Did you ever have any issue with somebody who was not just creative but also super talented, but then their parents or they were getting pressure from the general community to be like, you don't focus on music, go focus on this?
Oh, that's a constant struggle. That's a constant struggle. I
What
make
do you
it.
tell the parents?
I
when
make
they
it my
tell you that?
business to educate the parents as to telling them it's okay for your child to play in the band. That child doesn't even have to major in music. That's just a vehicle for them to get in college.
Yeah.
It's just like me getting a track scholarship. When I get in college, I'm not going to major in track.
Right.
Although that's my gift. That's what's going to take me around the world.
Right.
That music, I can get that music scholarship and I can major in engineering, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop performing.
Right.
I'm going to perform. The only thing they have to is they are obligated to perform with the college bands, get that experience there, and hopefully they'll still land in playing professionally in a band somewhere.
Yeah.
But they'll still have that other profession. You know, that's one avenue. Or they could go straight into music and do nothing else.
Okay, so now I have two questions that I want to ask you before we go to the break. All right. One question is, I've heard through the grapevine where persons are like, you can tell when somebody come back home from school and they go to their John Canoe group,
Mm-hmm.
how it influences the sound, like and how the John Canoe sound is being refined or fused with, I guess, the larger marching band sound. There's that question.
Yeah, well, that's a challenge too. My response to that, yeah, we do have a lot of persons we have a lot of our kids going to you might say the culture of HBCU schools.
Right.
And we see the styles that they do, and some of them do come back and they bring that influence into the John Canoe. But I think they have to be very careful as to how they do it. You just can't take an American hip hop song and all you do put behind it is some goat skin and cowbell,
A couple goat skin, and
and
then
you call it,
and the
Bahamian. No, it
sousaphone.
doesn't go. You have to be more creative than that. See, those guys, a lot of them, they wasn't trained to be arrangers or composers.
Right.
So in a way, be very careful how I say this.
No, I understand, because it's like, but see, that brings me to the second question, which is, how do we, when you talk about, okay, we need to sit down and figure out what is the Bahamian sound. If these are the Bahamian genres,
Yeah.
what all songs do we feel fall into this? Is there a song that overlaps? Is there a song that is kind of like this but slightly out of this? Because you have somebody like Tony McKay.
Yeah.
Right? Tony McKay, I would say, is kind of Junkanoo,
Yeah.
but at the same time, he definitely, there are times where he strays out of that a little bit. But it feels more on the Junkanoo side than a George Simonet.
Yeah, see,
right?
he's original. He's not copying anybody.
Right.
He's just taking the raw Junkanoo beat, even the calypso style of it. He's just being himself. That's why he's well known around the world.
Right. So how do we then come together today to say, okay, this is what you must have. This is the baseline for it to be considered Junkanoo, or to be considered Goombay, or to be considered Rake and Scrape. Because I've heard Rake and Scrape songs that don't have a saw in it. They don't have an accordion in it. The instruments are all either synthesized or modern instruments, but then there's a certain beat that they have, and then there's a storytelling aspect to it, and I guess that element makes it fall.
Okay,
under.
well, if you want the authentic Rake and Scrape, yes, you will get your saw, your goat skin drum, or whatever. But because of technology, you can have other electronic form of instruments, or even other percussion instruments that can substitute for instance, we have the scraper. That can give you the same feel of a saw.
Right.
It's not the saw, but it will take the role of the saw. Even from a drum set, a hi-hat can play the role of a saw, although it's not giving you the full effect of that.
You go for a high-pitched percussion.
Right. Any form of scraping instrument that will give you that. You have some live percussion instruments that will kind of give you the same feel as well. We say goat skin drum. I could do that on a Congo drum. So now we're just using different instruments, but
Yeah, but I want to know. But we're going to handle it on the other side of the break, right? Because I'm being told to take a quick break. So when we go on the other side of the break, we'll talk more about that. You are watching and listening to Sidebar 103 podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Welcome back to Sidebar 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. I'm here today with director Justilien. Yeah, like Justilien. I was like, wait, that's not your first name. Okay, that is your surname. And we are talking. Well, we're talking in general about music, more specifically about the All-Star Band.
Mhm.
All right, and the role that music plays in Bahamian society. Part of me wants to, because the idea of us nailing down, and I don't expect that me and you would nail this down in a 30, 45-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with people where they tried to explain to me, these are the 5 beats of Rake and Scrape. Rake and Scrape must have one of these beats before. I was like, I don't think that the producers of the hundreds of Rake and Scrape songs out there know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you're a musician, you're a composer, you're a director, you're all these things, right? Do you feel that it is the definition of what is Bahamian music is going to come from either what the Bahamian public responds to, or is it going to come from this is what we've always done, or is going to just be a situation of this is what we provide to the Bahamian audience? All right, because either of those I feel could lead us astray. Because if you just say what the Bahamian people respond to, the music will keep changing every 10 years because of popular music in the States.
Okay. I think the most important thing right now is we need to educate ourselves more in the area of music so we can know how to define it.
Right.
And set aside every style of music and say what it is. For instance, in my studies, my graduate studies, we studied different genres from rock music to rap to jazz, blues, everything else. And what are the characteristics of country music? What are the characteristics of soul, of our? We have those. That's documented. It's in place.
Right.
What is the characteristic of Gombe? What is the characteristic of Junkin? Or what is the character? See, we have to sit down as educators. Me and others.
Right.
Well, we're responsible for this, but we just have to learn how to work together.
Yeah.
So we have too many difference of opinions. Persons who probably didn't get the formal training versus persons who got the training, and even some of those who have the training still don't understand what it is.
All the tactics.
So it's not always the books,
Right.
but you have to grow, you have to live in it to know what it is.
For the basic average person, do you feel then that just starting off with a basic understanding of music itself is important? Like, for example, the All-Star Band, you guys don't play Rake and Scrape. It's a marching band. But everybody there has a grasp of music theory, at the very least on the basic level.
And by the way, in All Stars, they are exposed to the various styles.
Right.
We do American style music, we do Bahamian style music. It all depends on what type of performance we have. So they really love the Bahamian music.
I'd imagine resonate with them.
Yeah, we play music from various artists, from Bahamas to Wendy, you name it, Ronnie Butler. We have a large number of Bahamian songs that we do.
Okay, I mean that's good. So then they are also familiar. So they are closer to seeing, okay, this is how music theory works within these various genres.
Yes, and they're understanding the different forms and styles, and understanding and appreciating different forms of Bahamian music as well within the band. Because I was like, okay, I want a Rake and Scrape feel for this. I will set up to my drum line. I will write the bass line to match the characteristics of that particular style. If I want something with a Junkanoo feel, that too will have a particular beat to it. So the education is taking place in this organization as well.
That has me thinking how much of this stuff is less about the specific instrument and more, like when you say feel, you're talking about speed and I guess how hard you're playing the feel.
Well, the feel is have to do more with the style.
Okay.
You have the different, just like when we talk about if we're playing swing. You have to know how to swing those eighth notes. It has a particular feel to it. Junkanoo, when we see that ghost skin drum in the carpet, it have a particular feel and rhythm to it. We play it in a certain way with a certain with some level of you might say accuracy in the way we execute the rhythms.
what do you say to traditionalists who are, for lack of a better term, you know what? Let's say apprehensive about anything outside of what they grew up with? Because even I've seen inside Junction now, we have they call it the Konkalaka. That's
Yes.
what is the actual name for it? I do not remember what the real name is because so many Junction people have been like, yeah, that's the Konkalaka.
Well, I sat in a couple of years after that instrument came out.
Right.
When I say came out, not invented,
Right.
but was introduced to Junkanoo by a few guys from the police band.
Right.
All it is it's a rock,
Right.
a harness, and we can put any percussion thing on it that we want.
Right.
That instrument already existed.
Yeah.
It's just rock mounted percussion. And we use them in marching bands.
I've seen it in marching bands.
You could go in the U.S. and buy that harness.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the guys they welded something in that form.
Right.
And you it's almost that they were trying to say that they invented that. No, that wasn't invented, you see. And the name's not Konkalakas. It's fine. It's fine if we give it that nickname.
Right.
They say Konkalakas, Lonkas, and everything else, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But we just have to be honest with ourselves. And through education again.
Right.
And here it is. And after I finished that talk show, some of the guys was offended that I said that.
Yeah. But see, in my mind, the thought is there are probably people out there who were resistant to that for a whole different reason. Because they're like, if you're not shaking the percussion, the cowbells, then that's cheating. Or even because I'm old enough to remember when people was complaining about too much brass in Junkanoo.
Yeah. Well, if you don't want change, you will get left behind.
Right.
Too much change will take place.
Right. It's a balance.
Yeah. And it has a slow process of evolving, and we must accept that. I can't say, well, I'm not going to do this. I work with young people. I have to be very careful and not to put them in a box and say, well, they have to be old-fashioned like me. I have to give them room to introduce new ideas. Like, well, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? What can you do with Junkanoo rhythm? How to give you this? If I put a Junkanoo rhythm to something modern that will cause people to dance, I put a rap to a Junkanoo beat for me. Yeah. You see, you're giving them room to now think, explore. You see,
to figure it out.
Yes, you have to give them room to figure it out themselves.
So, how can the regular average Joe who doesn't play any instruments, they enjoy music, what can they do to ensure that music by Bahamians, right, whether that is in a traditional Bahamian genre or otherwise, is continued on? Like, what would you ask of them? If you could ask the average person who is like, they'll listen to music on the radio, but beyond that, they're not really involved with they don't live with music. They don't have no musical instruments inside the house. What would you tell them that they can do?
We need to listen more. Mm-hmm. Between listening, educating, and placing yourself into territories where you've never been before. If we never travel and see what's going on in the world, we will never open up to new ideas. If we talk about rake and scrape music, I could pull 20 rake and scrape songs right now, and all of them are similar. Where's the creativity?
All right.
You see, we have to define. It's up to the artists, the group of artists, to now educate the public as to how you go about putting some good song there. And it's been improvement. I just listened to a new song by Rick Carey. It's nice, and it's things like that. You listen to some of the stuff Wendy is doing, and even what Bahamas did with Junkanoo when they took the soca song "Who Let the Dogs Out." They commercialize it. They add the flavor of Junkanoo in that. See, that's being creative.
Right.
And once we can be accepted internationally, that's when we start to get the attention. Mm-hmm. T Connection,
right? With the funk.
Is it rake and scrape? Is it gombe? Is it is it?
I think that's funk. The T Connection is funk. That's definitely funk.
See, and even with that, they still have their Bahamian influence in that. If you listen good, maybe a seasoned musician will hear that in there. But I'm just saying that we have world-class athletes who can go out there and compete with the rest of the world.
Right.
Why can't a musician by the same numbers, I should say, go out there and do the same? But sometimes we don't challenge ourselves. We don't look too far in the international market.
Do you think it's a situation where we like the music sometimes, but we ain't willing to pay for it?
Yeah.
Is that a part of the issue? Is part of the issue that we are so used to popular music that sometimes we even request it to be played if it's a DJ or anything? Like, what do you think is the major issue preventing that support?
Well, there's a number of challenges. We're a small society.
Yeah.
You really can't survive as a musician just trying to sell to your local market.
Right.
That's too small. And for you to make it big, you have to have those connections. Your product have to be professionally done. That's where another challenge comes in, the production part of it. That's why Bahamas went so far. That's why T-Connection went so far. They got off the island, you see. But if we stay in a small community, imagine you go into regatta every year. You're going to see the same artists. You're going to hear the same songs.
Right.
And you go to the next regatta, same thing, same artists, same songs. Yeah. Next regatta, same artists, same songs. Independents come by, same artists, same songs. So we're not turning. The music is not coming out fast enough to give us a fresh selection of pieces that we can play on radio stations and all across Bahamas. How long Loose Me been out? You see.
People like it.
Well, we have no choice.
Right.
We have no choice. If that's a number one song for 10 years,
then it will.
You know.
Yeah. I understand.
But if we, we could look at the American chart. It's a big country.
Right.
We have thousands of new material out, and they're playing some of them. They're playing a lot of them.
Right.
Now, here in the Bahamas, how many new songs can we say we have right now?
That's a whole different.
Can we count them on one hand or two hands?
So the thing is, I think that there are persons who are producing music, but the traditional avenues are very tightly guarded. And so, like you said, if a person doesn't know where to go to hear it, because although there are some radio stations that will be like, oh, we're playing new music, right? Yeah. But there are also other radio stations where it's like, you send it to the person and they're like, eh.
Okay,
So, I mean, I'm saying that along with, but to what you said earlier, knowing where, going in different places, right? So if I want to hear what young people are listening to, and the only place I go is my corner of the woods where where I've always been going. If I go on, I'm only going to my bar. I know what my bar play. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to saying, all right, let me see what the young people listening to. Yeah. This might be rap, but then this is a Bahamian rap artist that I've never heard before. And then that's how you find these new music. Yeah. So in that regard. So the band. What is the ultimate goal in your mind for the band? Like what is it that you hope that the band brings? Years from now, you look back at it and say, we've succeeded. What is the thing that would make you say that?
Opportunities, empowering kids to become professionals at whatever field, but using performing arts as that vehicle in getting there. Whether it's in the performing arts itself or using that to get to the next level of education on a bigger stage. And that's key. And because we have a lot of gifted kids, and it's happening. And sometimes we don't hear of the good things that's taking place. Our kids are all over the place. We have kids who's teaching music in the U.S. One just came back home yesterday. I ran into him, saxophone player. We have kids teaching in Florida, some in North Carolina, different places, university levels. Many on stages performing in Bahamian bands and some bands in the U.S. as well. But we don't hear about these things.
No, and those are the things that we need to hear about.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to close up You are listening and watching Sidebar 103 podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sidebar 102 to podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. And Mr. Justilien, we're going to let you have the final word. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Music, it's empowering. It's been saving the lives of many kids, career-wise, opportunities. We have all the evidence on paper. I can tell you with most of these kids, we following them, seeing what they are doing, and it's great to see that you go in places now. I'm being entertained by former students. I have former students who's now my colleague and colleagues in music education. I had one young man who's just starting his teaching career. He's been shipped to South Andres. I remember him. Being sitting in the banner room. Being in education is challenging for someone, especially the young men. Sometimes even teachers would look at them as, oh, you're not going to turn out to be anyone. Oh, you're just going to be another this or another that. But when you see them moving up and excelling, it's a proud moment. And even through the All-Stars, we try to do a trip every year. And when we see those kids traveling and playing on big stages, I remember when we did the Macy's Day Parade, I saw the looks on those kids' faces with excitement, performing for thousands and thousands of folks. When we did Ireland St. Patrick's Day Festival, that too, some kids getting passports for the first time, never traveled that far away from the country. And we're planning something big this year. We're not going to say what it is yet. There's probably going to be one of the biggest stages that we're heading to, and it's going to take some while and a lot of fun. So we're looking to get some support from the general public. So whenever you hear that big announcement, make sure you come on board to help us out.
How can they support you guys?
Well, if you go on Facebook, we're Bahamas All-Stars. Just type in Bahamas All-Stars, whether it's Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, you'll get information on us. You can always reach us. We're one of the easiest group to find. You can go on YouTube and just type up Bahamas All-Stars. You'll see some of our past videos, and that's a testimony within itself. And right now we're doing band camp. We have over 100 kids. If you were to come back here between hours of 5 and 8, this campus right now that's closed, school is closed. You'll have over 100 kids running up and down here doing some stuff. Yeah.
Right.
And we have a big event coming up in November. I think November 8th. We call it Bahamas, our fifth quarter band jamboree, where we feature different bands and we put on a showcase there. It's been very successful for us every year. We're going to have some of our popular other community bands, school bands, so you might want to put that on your calendar, November 8th. Not Bahamas All-Stars fifth quarter band jamboree.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Justilien, thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for joining us. Once again, you have been, let's do that part again. My throat, I got it. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Justilien.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting us, you might say, shining a light on this program.
No problem. And thank you guys so much for joining us. Once again, you've been watching and listening to Sidebar, One of Two to Be podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. True God still.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?